welcome to the Northerners Podcast. We're two friends in fiber who knit, craft, crochet, and talk everything in between. My name is Jocelyn, and my co-host is
Diana.
I'm told it's episode 359.
So saith so saith the sign.
Excellent. Sometimes I'm not sure where my memory has gone.
I don't know. Out the window, rolled under the couch.
Oh gosh. At this point, I think it's run off with the second select and it's moved to Barbados as far as I can tell. While I enjoy an afternoon cup of decaf coffee with a teaspoon. What size spoon did I use? Teaspoon. Teaspoon of blackstrap molasses to sweeten it, which by the way, it works really good. Diana can inform us what's going on, because what in the world? You're already knitting. I'm just gonna sit here and drink my coffee. It's decaf. I can't even pretend it's morning for me.
I have no such hot beverage. I have an empty can of the Compliments brand bubbly is what I have. We've got let's see, I'm wearing a knit, so we've got some cool threads and we knitted stuff, so we got some woolly workings, and then we got some announcements and stuff, so that'll be wool gathering.
That works. PSA, public service announcement. Jocelyn's injured her foot. Not specifically. I haven't re-injured my foot. My foot has gone on strike. In our, what is it? What do we call the photo at the start of this podcast?
The thumbnail?
There we go. It's a Monday. I was holding up my sweater because I finished the body on my 2-week sweater challenge.
Nice.
I did the entire body of a DK weight sweater in 2 weeks, peeps. Less than. I finished it Friday night. I did the entire body at 48-inch bust line in 10 days. And I didn't stress my hands out to the point where I have to stop knitting.
Nice.
Only worked on it in the evenings after work time, and I did not do any late nights. I didn't do any early mornings. This was literally just a regular, instead of picking up 3 or 4 projects over the week, I just worked on this. So holy schnickerdoodles.
Amazing what a little bit of project monogamy can accomplish.
Well, it's never going to happen again until next year because I was bored out of my brain pan by Friday. But that means a DK weight sweater every month is beyond achievable at a nice, relaxed, not all-consuming pace. That just blows the idea that it takes months to finish a sweater out of the water. Because it doesn't. Because it doesn't.
If you're focused on the one thing and you actually work on it every day, things actually happen when you focus and put in the work.
I reject your reality and substitute my own. Now,
I know it's a wild concept.
Now, I've made mine. This is the. Hang on, I always say this wrong. The pattern is beautifully written. It's written for women, it's written for men, it's written as a V-neck, it's written as a crew neck, and it's free. Like, this pattern is glorious. And the most complicated part about it is its flippin' name. Simple summer tweed top-down V-neck.
That sounds right.
Sounds right.
It's linked in the description.
Thank God we link things in the description. I love this construction. I did have to write out my increase squares for my personal size because she has it charted, but she has it charted so you can do it as a woman or a man. And they have different varying increases depending on your size. So rather than writing out 17 million pages, she put it in a chart form. So you have to you have to find your size and the number of repeats for both your raglan and your shoulders and stuff, and you have to write out your own flippin' increase schedule, which quite frankly, I didn't pay anything for this pattern. You can bloody well make me write out my own increase schedule. That's absolutely acceptable.
And also for making the pattern honestly more legible, because
it's very condensed. You read through the small section, and she says read to the double stars. She means read to the double stars. You read through all your increases, and then I just wrote out each section where I had to do my increases, and I literally made a little grid box underneath each one. And the first 20 increases for me were entirely the same. So I literally did the first 20 increases straight up as is, doing all of the increases. And then when I got to the 20, I stopped. I put in a lifeline because my row gauge is always off like nobody's business, which is why I ended up doing my shoulders part twice, because you slow down, which most sweaters have you slow down on your increases as you get closer to the shoulders so you can get more depth, which is a problem when your row gauge is off like mine is. So I ended up shortening the number of repeats, like just number of rounds in between each increase row as listed, because I was getting too much depth for my personal body sizing. So I made some adjustments, but I did all of my increases. And once it was there, I could just tick off each box as I went, which was so satisfying. And I only wrote increase boxes. So I just tracked my increases, but it worked really great. So I know I'm going to end up making another one. I know I'm going to end up making another one.
Your selling pretty well. I kind of want to make one.
I love it on the DK. I'm probably going to make the next one on fingering, because it's just a matter of a gauge swatch and stitch sizing, right? So like, who cares if I end up in the men's sizing in the fingering weight if I've got the fabric I want? Like, I can easily downsize or upsize my yarn. So like, oh yeah, and a V-neck, guys, V-neck. Now, there is some finishing around the neckline if I want to do it. I can pick up the stitches, knit 3 more rows of stockinette and bind off again, so you get a curlier Q neckline. I don't know if I'm going to do that yet or not. But I have some sleeves to work on. I've just started my first sleeve, and I have a very large wingspan, so this is going to take a hot second.
It looks great. It looks like a nice,
but it is a
nice kind of everyday sort of sweater.
Basic everyday sweater, which is perfect because that is the part of my wardrobe I am trying to currently replace. So 10 out of 10 recommend the pattern. Vanessa suggested it to both me and Louise, and we both loved it. Louise finished hers. She had a worsted Aran weight yarn. Looks so good. It looks so good. And hers had variegations to it, right? So like it did this whole pattern beauty thing through with the yarn. So it's just like, oh, this could be beautiful with variegated yarn. So I'm gonna sit here and work on my Barocco vintage DK weight sweater while we talk. And if everybody wants to laugh about gauge, both me and Louise got gauge. She used a 4mm on a light worsted Aran weight yarn. I use a 5mm on DK weight yarn.
And that's both gauge.
That is both gauge.
Yep. I don't understand your gauge.
Hey, for fun, me and Asa measured our sock gauges, because I knit my socks on a 2.25mm, right? So sock max is going on.
Yeah.
I have 40 stitches over 4 inches on a 2.25mm gauge. No wonder I've never had to repair my socks. I'm not joking when I say I knit Kevlar. I should be knitting socks on a 3.5 or 3.75mm for the standard gauge they're asking for. I'm literally knitting them too tight. There's no movement.
Well, hey, if that's the fabric you like, then, who's to say it's wrong?
I'm not going to say it's wrong. I'm going to keep making socks on 2.25mm, though I might engage in some pattern socks at gauge, because those will actually go faster.
Yeah, I think we've figured out why it takes you forever to make socks.
Yes, we have.
All right. I remembered the name of the place that I went to do all the selfie stuff.
Oh, good.
It is the Museum of Selfies, and they're in several cities, I think just in the States.
Well,
but Museum of Selfies, A+.
Museum of Selfies, come to Winnipeg.
There's maybe one in Toronto. I don't remember. I didn't look it up in that much detail.
Not sure. Museum of Selfies. Okay. That's fair.
I told you the Museum of something. It's a Museum of Selfies.
Yeah, I remember the museum part, but I didn't remember what the rest of it was. So.
All right. So from the thumbnail, I've started the body patterning on my Librarian Pullover. Ooh. which is a pattern by Skein Deer Knits that we're doing for our Little Long.
It's true, we are.
Which is the librarian book themed knit along, knit anything book themed. A sweater that a librarian would wear. This one happens to be called the Librarian.
Listen, guys, we wanted an excuse to cast on the librarian, and we've had it in our catalog. We've had it in our library for a while now.
For so long.
Both of us have
It's
wanted
got this
to
fun
knit
lattice
this thing.
pattern. I really like it. There we go. I got it to show up good.
I like the slip stitch latticey pattern thing to it. Like it's a twisted stitch mock cable thing. Oh, so good.
Yeah. I'm not totally sold on it. I don't hate it. I love the pattern.
Okay.
Let's be very clear. I love the pattern. I don't love the flow of the left-leaning twist.
That's fair. It is a little kajiggery.
But besides that,
it's a little.
Besides that, I'm absolutely loving it. And the yarn is cinnamon apricot spice. It's a tweedy brown red DK red brown red.
So good.
By Dragon Horde Yarns.
Oh, so good.
The pattern is written for worsted weight. I did some math kajiggering and I'm just knitting a bigger size on DK to get the size that to get the finished measurements that I want. So yeah. Math is important.
I just proved you can do a sweater body for my size in 10 days. And you're doing the cropped version, so...
I'm doing a cropped version, but it's also patterned, so I think that might cancel out.
No. For cropped? Nah, still 10 days. 22-inch long
I make
body.
No promises. I make no promises.
I may have to make the body longer. But I need to pick mine up. I need to get this one done and pick my librarian up to finish it.
Yeah, like
so good.
I've hardly put any I think I've put maybe like I put in a stitch marker and that's like maybe 90 minutes of work. Oh, and I've got over an inch. I don't know if that's showing up properly, but I promise you it's just over an inch.
So fast. Oh, it looks so good.
Yeah. So I'm pretty pleased with it. And like part of that time was I was making a reel and I haven't picked this up in a while, so I had to read the pattern again and remember how the twists work. So like now that I'm in the groove,
oh yeah,
we're off to the races.
Oh yeah.
Except that I need to wind more yarn first because I'm almost done my first ball. I only wound one yarn ball because I was just like desperate to get started. But this is all I have left, so I have to wind some more. Otherwise, we're going to come to a real hard halt.
Should wind a couple of balls this time.
Yeah, well, I'm going to wind the rest of the yarn this time because I'm less desperate.
Less desperate?
I'm just going to wind it all and stick it in a project bag because I don't lack for those now because I'm
getting rid of
ripping a bunch of stuff.
Gonna finish. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, where are we at?
You finished your librarian sweater.
Yes, so it's your turn to talk about a thing.
My turn to talk about a thing. But first, coffee.
Well, yes, always, but first coffee.
Okay. So, as I was freed from the knit only one thing at a time situation, I grabbed that Gramps kid baby cardigan thing I've been working on.
Oh, yes.
So I have some leftover cookie something.
The cookies and cream?
I think it's cookies and cream. It's a Karen big cake. So it's acrylic yarn. I had 4 balls. I used 2 of them in a weird combination. So like 3 of them to make that Cozy Dreams bulky weight shawl pattern.
Right.
I released the
cannibalized some other balls to make the stripes the same width.
Because to me it drives me nuts when shawl stripes aren't the same width. So I have a bunch of random odds and ends. So I decided to make a ye old baby sweater. Friends of mine, you guys may know, long-time listeners, I have friends, they've been a couple for a very long time. They had their 4th baby this past January. 4th.
It's a lot of baby.
That's a lot of babies. So I'm making a little Gramps sweater from Tin Can Knits. You Gramps cardigan. I'm gonna pull one sleeve out.
Oh, that's so sweet. I don't know what it is about the little sleeve. Like
Just tiny sleeve. I do have some like a little fiddly doodad thing I gotta fix on the underarm on this first sleeve, but that's okay. So I have one. I finished one sleeve, so I got the first sleeve done. It is for a baby boy, Mr. V. So I need to still pick up and do the shawl collar and stuff, but the body is done. The first sleeve is done. It is not washed and blocked, so the sleeve is standing up on its own, nice and proud. Because it's acrylic, she needs a bath. So once we've had our bath and a shawl collar attached, we'll be done. I got the second sleeve on the needles. On the needles. Baby sleeves don't take long. Why did I not finish this? Because I decided to nap yesterday. That's why I
It's a reasonable choice.
I didn't do anything yesterday. I had fed my cat, I fed myself, and I slept. And that seemed like the right choice. So I want to get this sleeve done and I want to get the shawl collar done, ideally this week. So I would love to be able to go, hey, I gave this to Dad on Saturday, this coming Saturday, because that's our next D&D session. And you can see the photos of the finished object on Instagram. That's what I would like to do for next week's podcast. We will see how that goes. We'll see how that goes. I do remember from the last couple of years from the sweater challenges that I get a little distracted, even for me, that first week off, and do like all the things and get no progress on anything. But I do fulfill that itch to do something different. So who knows? I'm gonna leave it there in my background so it stares at me aggressively.
Stares menacingly. Bless you.
Until I finish it. We'll see how long it takes for me to cave. However, that means that's it. That's just the two things I have to work on, which just feels wrong.
Well, I only have one more thing, and you've been seeing it this entire time, probably in the bottom of the frame. As we record, let me pull up that loop nice and big.
My knitting needle's stuck in my yarn bowl loop. There we go.
Well, don't do that.
Fix the problem.
As we record, I've been working on stripe number 7 on my granny stripe blanket out of Advent yarn from Fireweed Fiber Co. a couple years ago.
I don't believe you because you didn't put a progress keeper in.
I know, I keep forgetting. Okay, you know what? You know what? Here, I will. Let's see what I've got to hand. What have I got to hand? I have a little moon.
Okay.
I'm doing it right now. Got a little moon. I'm gonna
visually track your progress, ma'am.
There. Okay, I've stuck it in here. I stuck it in on this side. Doesn't really matter. But I stuck it in the top row so next week we can see.
Good.
But trust me, I started another color. Therefore, that means I made progress.
Therefore, that means I made progress.
Well, I started a new yarn ball, so the other yarn must have gone away.
Yeah.
And it must have gone somewhere.
Yep.
Presumably it went into this blanket.
Presumably, yes.
Presumably. So we're getting there.
We have got to deal with your white issue.
Is it? Is it?
It is so blown out. It's just white.
It's
just white, dear. We have to deal with your lighting white camera thing. We're gonna have to fiddle with some settings, I think. Because I know that Advent color collection, and it is a beautiful, rich, vibrant color scheme. And it's just, it's
if
so
I just hold it like really, really close, is that better?
No, it makes it worse. I mean, I can see the stitches now, but it's still just white with
There's a lot of white in
speckles.
these colors. I think they get darker as it goes along, but there's a lot of white in these ones.
Not that much white.
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
We'll have to
This is the lighting I've got,
guys. We'll have to fiddle with things.
Anyway, that's coming along. It's a free pattern. It's linked in the description.
It is. It's a beautiful blanket, and they're beautiful colors. Only because I have
it's very
them in
nice
person.
And soothing to work on. I'm very excited to have this for next winter.
Yes.
Because this is just gonna be a background all year project. So sorry, you're gonna be seeing it for a long time.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't mind. Blankets are huge projects. I don't mind seeing them for a while, so long as we're making progress. That's the important part. And it's Erin of Fireweed Fiber Co. Come on now. Like, I'm ever gonna say no to seeing Erin's yarn?
So yeah, it's obviously gorgeous. 10% off with our code Northern Knits 10.
It's true.
Northern Knits 10.
You can save yourself some monies.
Highly recommend. Very nice yarn.
Since we get her club
Never mind
yarn
the
every year.
entire cube. Wait, no, the entire cube behind me here.
You just have one.
It's just
not even close to my volume
I
of
have
collection
one
yet.
that is entirely her sock yarn.
Yes.
The DK is in another one, so I have
Absolutely.
about 1.5 cubes.
Good. You know what that means? Knit faster.
I'm trying.
All right. So before we started podcasting for the day, both me and Diana have discovered that our shawls are not dry enough to show off. So I have washed and blocked my shawl. Thank you very much. I am not taking it off those mats till it is done. I do not want to redo that. I do not want to redo that.
Pins.
It's a lot of shawl.
It's a little lace, a lot of pins.
It's a lot of shawl. So fine. We will delay by a week because apparently neither one of the two of us can remember it takes longer for shawls to dry in the winter than it does in the summer. We're so smart.
We have good planning.
Oh, excellent planning. Super stoked. I still need to attach my tassels because I do the tassels last, right? Because I don't want to wait for tassels to dry in a washing blocking situation. No.
No, tassels might take a full week just on their own.
It's possible. So I still need to attach my tassels, which is fine. So hopefully we can they will be dry by next week. It's just that's how time works. Oh,
what?
My word.
Time. Linear?
However, it does mean that officially the podcast anniversary is done because the Choose Your Own Adventure MKAL is out. It is a asymmetrical shawl. It does use 6 different stitch patterns. Technically, you have the options of 12 different stitch patterns because both me and Diana picked a different stitch for each section.
And there's 2 variations of the transition sections between the colors.
Yeah. You technically
I worked it out and it's like 1,600 variations of pattern or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to redo that math, but it's a lot.
It's a lot. There's a lot of room to maneuver and do what you want with it, which is excellent. So the final update has gone out from your guys' perspective. So there is the clue versions. So if you want to do it clue by clue, you can do it clue by clue. Or there is one final PDF. It's called the final copy. And it has all of the sections in one document piece. So you can go at it whatever way works the best for you. However, the downside is it means by the time we come up to whip sprints this Saturday, it will no longer be a free pattern. It will be a paid for pattern. So as of Saturday morning, which will be February something.
I got a calendar, 1 second. This Saturday is the 24th.
Thank you. It will be a paid for pattern in my Ravelry yarn store, knitting store. So if you were looking at this and thinking, oh man, I haven't done my final updates, do your updates because I have no idea what that is going to do to everything once I move it over to a paid pattern. So for the moment, we're still free, but as of Saturday morning, I will be making that a paid pattern. So this is your very final warning.
Super duper final.
Super duper final.
We mean it. We're serious.
Absolutely mean it. I will be changing that over. I cannot help you after that. That's just that. I love you. I can't help you after that. So that's all wrapped up. Thank the goddess.
Yeah, next time we do knit along, A, let's not make it a mystery, and B, let's make it smaller.
I both love and dread them. It doesn't matter. Anytime if we were to run a knit along the way we ran this mystery knit along, which is how we should be running all of our knit alongs, they would all be this intense. We just don't. So we have other things upcoming, which we need to get prepped and ready for. Which is good. It also means that if there's some people who are still trying to race and they're like, oh, I'm gonna see what the shawl looks like, you get an extra week. You get an extra week. Simply because I forget that it takes an extra couple of days to dry a shawl. Otherwise I'd have mine and I just would have shown it off, right? Yeah, that's fine. I also should take my lifelines out. They're still in there.
I should weave in my ends.
Well, I wove in my ends as I went. I haven't trimmed them because I'm like you. I prefer to trim after a wash and a block, but I weave in as I go because I hate going back to weave in ends.
Yeah, I mostly did that, but I forgot on one clue for whatever reason.
I absolutely.
So I have to weave those ones in.
I absolutely did not take my lifelines out yet, which probably is a good thing just in case like I dropped a stitch somewhere and I didn't see it, right? And I end up opening up a section to pick up the stitch and stuff. Probably good that I haven't taken my lifelines out yet. A microscopic examination of my shawl shall occur now because now I'm paranoid I've dropped a stitch. Cool. Thanks, Jocelyn, for helping your paranoia out. I swear.
It's like, if it makes you feel any better, I definitely dropped a stitch in my clue 5. It did
That's
not
a
affect
heck
my
of a
stitch
place.
count. But I do need to fix it before the
That
final
is
show off as well.
there is an angry puppy in the
Oh no,
entryway.
puppy.
We are expressing our displeasure.
Puppy has woes.
I sound like my cat's woes. All right. In good news, that means we're all tidied up with stuff that we worked on. So I can give you a word.
Yeah, what's the word of the day?
Telescope,
Telescope.
which is the word right underneath Frankenstein, which was last week.
All right, telescope. My brain's like, use a telescope to see into the future. I'm like, that's not what a telescope is for.
That is so not what a telescope is for.
Really not what it's for. But that's all my brain wants to do now. Like, it's for seeing into the future. Like, no, it's not. But yes, it is. No, it's
No,
really,
not.
really not.
Oh my gosh, that is ridiculous. I love it.
My brain
Is a delightful.
My brain is a dumpster fire on a good day.
It's so good. It's so good.
All right. If you would like to financially support these shenanigans and my dumpster fire of a brain, you may do so at patreon.com/northernitspodcast.
I highly recommend.
Any level of support gets you access to our patron-only Discord server, where we talk about all manner of things. Not including how telescopes help you see into the future, because that's not what they're for.
That's not what they're for.
We do, however, have a great many opinions on yarn and projects, and a great amount of praise for actually finishing things and telling you everything's beautiful and perfect and don't worry about it. Don't worry about that mistake 16 rows back. No one can see it.
Because nobody can.
Nobody can. We're very supportive that way. We're also extremely supportive of, do you need to buy that yarn or start that new project or buy that new pattern? Or yes, the answer is always yes. If you're looking for restraint, that's not us.
Hey, listen.
We will not provide restraint.
We're supporting the Google Crew Master in her endeavor to not buy yarn this year, so we celebrate every time she has resisted the urge to buy yarn. Nor would she ever see any censure if she actually bought yarn this year. We would be just as excited for her. So I'm not sure how well that works out in the end. We are currently doing a yarn exchange with people in the Patreon who would like to, who participate in the Discord threads. So I know we've got some yarn packages that'll be sending out to people here shortly. People are chatting to their paired partners. It's delightful. I get a list of names once the window of sign up has closed, and I assign them random numbers, and I give them to the mysterious Mr. B, and he randomly pairs the numbers together, and then I turn around and I figure out who's paired with whom. It's as close to a double blind as I can get. So that's fun. Which means next month, which is our big month, it's our podcast anniversary birthday month.
It's all the birthday celebration month.
Birthday.
It's
March
the month where you should have cake all the time.
All the time. Diane and I will both physically be getting older. The podcast will have completed 7 years.
Yeah.
7? Yeah, 7 years of full podcasting. Because remember, we don't celebrate till we're finished. So that is absolutely happening next month, which will be delightful fun. I am super excited for it.
Fully 7 years old.
Only 7 years old.
Wow.
Crazy, isn't it? We have been doing this for a while.
Better part of a decade.
And consistently too, which I'm very proud of us for. I think we've missed 2 weeks? 2 episodes?
I think it's
Two,
ended up being
three?
a couple more than that. I think Gremlins ate a few episodes, but I think we're only at like 5 in
Gremlins
7
have
years.
Yeah, Gremlins have definitely eaten some episodes. So yeah, I could see 5. But in 7 years, like, our track record is amazeballs. I am so proud of us.
So like if you're desperate for a backlog of stuff to listen to while you craft, we got
Oh my
7
God.
years.
And we're like an hour most of the time minimum.
Yeah, so you've got like 359 hours to catch up on.
Holy jeebus. 0 out of 10 recommend unless you're the kind of person who likes to do that. Because oh man,
Yeah, I also don't recommend listening to our early backlog. We were very good at this.
it was rough. It's rough while we were getting our feet under us. That's fine. That's part of the process. Which is just, it's probably because now when we don't record, I am at a loss all week. Like something's missing.
Like it's weird, yeah.
It's so weird. I can't. And I mean, to be fair, we've been friends long enough that if we don't talk once every 3 or 4 days, the recording length for these podcasts is somewhere around 3 or 4 hours. If we haven't talked in between,
It's bad.
it's bad. So there's that. About all sorts of things. Oh boy. That's us. That's how things work. For everybody who can't financially support us, don't worry. There is extra content that does come out. It's just at a slightly slower pace since bonus content and extras go out to Patreon members and YouTube memberships first. We have been very slowly putting up my knitting patterns and testing out different platforms so that they are available outside of Ravelry for everyone. So you don't have to be a Patreon member to get the Ravelry pattern or to get the knitting patterns and the crochet patterns. We're slowly uploading them to YouTube digital contents, Patreon digital contents, and we are working on a new release or re-release of the Shopify merch store. Diana has make merch as her to-do list this week.
I do indeed.
It's
You may also notice below this video that a few of Jocelyn's patterns are listed in a non-Ravelry capacity. So
we needed testing things, and
hey.
I was like, hey, just put the patterns up there. That'll work. That's a good test method. That midwinter collection, it's making the rounds. I think that's our test pattern collection. Will this work? Well, I'll try it with this. So like my midwinter collection's available like everywhere.
That and the Cozy Dreams shawl, just available everywhere.
Everywhere. Just everywhere. Works great. Hey, it was an easy way to test to make sure everything worked properly. It didn't involve extra
It does
work.
seem to be working, so there's that.
Bonus the bonus. All right. Announcement wise. Oh, thankfully, we've dropped something off the list, which helps because I don't make notes. So this is all coming out of my brain. The podcast anniversary has wrapped up. Woohoo! I will have a dry shawl next week, which will be nice. It
Yep.
may or may not be on the needles if I find a drop stitch. We will see. We'll see what happens. That's fine. I'm getting very good at
drop stitches I've got.
I'm getting very good at Kitchener stitching things, so it's fine. It's been good practice for me. We have an upcoming spring equinox cow. That is the next big thing that's coming for us. We do 3 seasonal knit craft with us sort of ideas. So it is to celebrate the season to which we are currently in. We highly recommend picking up something for yourself that you wish to work on that fits to the seasonal theme. That's very broad. Maybe it's the yarn weight, maybe it's the style of pattern. It also means that if you happen to live in like the southern hemisphere, your spring cow could be something that we would work on up here in the fall because that's the season you're getting ready for, right? So just it has to be seasonal to you. That's the important part. What am I going to work on? I haven't a hot idea yet. That is my next problem, and I have till the 19th of March to figure it out.
Suggestions welcome.
Oh, absolutely.
In the comments, if you got any ideas,
please
let's have
enable
them.
me. Enable me, folks. Suggestions. Hit me up. I would love some. We have, what else we got going on? We have whip sprints this coming Saturday. Whip sprints. We have voting for craft off this weekend.
This weekend already?
Yeah, because the month changes in the middle of the week. that's how that works. Or is it next weekend? No, it would be next weekend.
It would be next weekend, yeah.
Next weekend.
Because
Yeah.
it's the weekend right before the live, which is
Yes.
yeah, following weekend.
Yes, that's how time works. Wow. Maybe I should have caffeine today. All right. That's how that, because time. Good. I'll take the extra week to work on things.
Yeah, me too.
What else we got going on?
Come up with what I'm posting. What I'm. Oh no, I already know what I'm doing next month. Never mind.
I don't know what I'm doing next month. I gotta figure that out.
I more or less know what I'm doing next month.
I got we voted for the red crochet sweater this month. That's what everybody voted on. So that's been sitting on my coffee table staring at me.
This month I'm doing a cocoon cardigan out of the Karen anniversary cakes.
That's right. That's what you're working on. My brain was just like, oh man, what was Diana's?
Another sweater, because of course.
Of course. That's fine.
That's my thing now, is blankets and sweaters, apparently.
Sure. Whatever works for you. It doesn't bother me.
That's what I'm into right now.
I've got the new bingo card challenge to work on. I've got that vintage item I need to get started. I've got like 50 patterns. I'm sure I can narrow that down to one.
Oh, hey, since I'm doing the thing out of the Karen anniversary cake, that counts as my acrylic square for bingo.
It would, yes.
Perfect.
Things that are ongoing.
The square that I was supposed to be doing, yeah.
Things that are ongoing in our lives. Okay. I think that's it. I don't think we have anything else big on the plates at the moment. Thank heavens. I have my birthday to get ready to celebrate.
I gotta figure out what I'm doing for mine.
Well, I mean, if I'm honest, it'll just it's on a Sunday and we have I have Warhammer that day, so I'll be playing Warhammer and then I will be having a nice quiet dinner at home by myself that I will have ordered in, so I don't have to cook it. And I wanted a bakery cake, so I'm gonna order a baker cake for myself for my birthday.
Reasonable. I will do something.
Something?
I will do something that I haven't figured out yet.
Sure. So remember, we're recording on the Monday.
We'll be recording on my birthday.
We will be recording on your birthday. Because on mine, I'll be playing tiny war games with little models. Because that's how time works. All right, that's it. Let's close this off. I'm going to say until next week, I'm Jocelyn.
And I'm Diana.
And no matter where your week takes you, don't forget to knit.